Okay guys, so I'm back. I'm all the way down to the end. I got one hole left to go through. And a little trick to making it a little bit easier to get through there, because you're really tight now, is I took the straight needle off and I put a nice big curved needle on there. You can get these at your local sewing place pretty easily, and they sure make life a lot easier. But anyways, in that last hole, you go in the hole, and instead of going all the way back, all the way through, you gotta come back out the middle like you did on the very first stitch that you did. And sometimes it's a little tricky, but we got it. So then you come out, you go through there and you come out the middle like we did on, like when we started this first stitch and we left this string hang out. So now you pull that through, and it's another one of them deals where it might take a pair of pliers to get through because it's pretty stiff now. And you just pull it through. You pull all your string through, and then you pull it tight. And now you can take that needle back off because you're done with the needle now. And set it aside. So now what you have is your short string that you left in there to be at the beginning, and then you got this longer string from where you just finished up. So what you do is I give them both a good pulling, and then I tie a couple of knots on them in them, and I pull them really tight. I usually put 3 or 4 granny knots right on top of each other. And then after you do that, you take a knife and you cut off the tag ends. And then what I do, and I don't have a lighter on me, is I take those tag ends and I kind of mess around till they're right up against each other, and I hit them with a lighter real quick so that they kind of melt on each other. Then I take that knot and I just push it in and tuck it in behind the leather. Let me go ahead and do that real quick and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so after it's melted, you just take this knot and you just stick it in there. I'm using that ice pick, and then you just work the sheath back shut where that knot is, and that knot will be nice and hidden, and you won't even be able to hardly tell where it was at. I mean, it was right there, but you can't really tell. A little bit of wear and you won't be able to tell where it's at all. Okay, so we got this sheath about 99% done now. The welt's in there. It fits on the axe pretty good. So the next thing we want to do is somehow we got to be able to tie this on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it a pretty easy setup, and I'm just going to pop a hole in this side and a hole on the opposite side right in line with each other, and we're going to put a piece of leather cord through there, and then we'll just tie it right around the back of the hammer, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's all done. Okay, so I took my hole cutters and I popped the hole in there. So now all you do is I got a piece of leather lace that I happen to have laying around, and you just put it through the hole, and then you put it through the other hole. And we'll see if this piece of leather lace is long enough. If not, I might have to get a little longer one. Let's see. This is probably going to work just fine. So what you do is you, after you got the accent like so, what you do is you take this leather lace and you can tie a knot on one end of it. Try to keep the knot out to the very end of it, so you got plenty of room for the lace, and that knot's never going to pull through that hole. So after you do that, you can pull that knot. After you do that, you'll be able to pull that knot all the way down till it hits the hole and it can't go nowhere. Then you come over to this end and you basically you do the same thing. You put a little knot at the very end of this piece of lace. And you pull the knot all the way down the end of it, so it doesn't use any slot. So now you got a lace with two knots in the end of it, which you can use, which is nice, because then all you got to do is pull the knot and it holds the sheath on nice and tight. And if you're afraid that it might come out, you can always put a half hitch in it around the sheath, but it's not really not necessary. So another thing that you can do with this sheath is, now that you got it basically done, and it'll work just the way it is right here, but say you want to fancy it up a little bit, you could take this sheath now and you could actually cut like this material off and make it a little bit more designed. You can design it basically any way you want, and I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to do a little bit of cutting on it and fitting, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's all done. Okay, so that's about what I wanted it to look like. So the last thing I can do and it's something that not everybody has, but I have a drum sander, so I could actually go around and squeeze this really tight like this, run around and drum sand this whole edge and make it look like it is all absolutely perfect. And I think I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's all finished. Okay guys, there it is. It's all done as far as I'm concerned. You just put it in there, put the axe in there like you normally would an axe, and you know, it fits pretty nice. The loop here, you just loop it around like so, like this, to get it in that way and put it in, and just give the loop a pull. Give the knot a pull, I should say. And like I said, if you think it's going to fall out, you could just put a couple half hitches in it right here, and it ain't going nowhere. Actually, it ain't going nowhere, just like that. And there you go, it's on. You got yourself a nice little leather sheath, and it's all done. So there you go. Leather sheath almost cost nothing to make, and just a little bit of time. So if you like the videos, like, share, and subscribe. And I just want to say thank you for watching, and see you in the next project.